The difference between a broken community and a thriving one is the presence of women who are valued, said Michael Obama. We are fortunate we have women within this room who add significant value to the community. First of all, I wish you all a happy Women's Day. Now, a heart, I welcome everyone who is present over here. This morning, we all have gathered to celebrate the International Women's Day. Annually, it is celebrated on 8th March of every year to celebrate the achievements of women in various fields. Now, I invite Ms. Pradhana Bhatt to address the occasion.
Good morning. Okay. Thank you for coming on a Sunday morning. I'm sorry you guys had a long weekend, long week, and again come on a Sunday instead of sleeping, but it's okay. And thanks for sitting in the second row. You're not in the last bench. It's okay, but at least they are sitting. Okay. So you can consider me as like your senior. I also have graduated in computer science engineering. I was a passionate coder, but accidentally fell into analytics. You can consider like that. From last 7 years, I have been. Uh, it's okay. I am audible. I have loud voice. So I can. So, you can use the volume microphone. Hello. Okay. Hello. Hello. Okay. So let's not have a formal talk. I want all of you guys to interact. It's going to be only half an hour, but make sure that you understand whatever we talk and you use this somewhere in your career so that you can do something in analytics. Okay. So, yes. Okay. So I have worked, first I worked in future decision analytics. Before that, for 1 year, I have worked in a market research company. That's the first time where, as an engineer, I saw data. It was in Excel. You guys have like worked on Excel, right? So I've done a lot of reports on Excel, like scripting and automated reporting. For the first time, when I got my hands dirty with the data, it was hard, but that was a wonderful experience, and I feel that's what has made me a data scientist today. How the data looks, what is reporting, everything. Post that, I worked in Fluid Data Session Analytics, where I actually studied like predictive modeling, data science, and all of it. It was a startup, so I chose to join a startup because I can get more exposure. There will be a lot of work at office, but you get to do everything, like from coding to even designing your product. You can, if you have your UI skills, you can use that as well. If you have like mathematical skills, you can learn data science. If you have database skills, you can even do backend. So all of these things you can do in a startup. So that's what people want to do in a startup, join a startup. I did that for 5 years, and now I have joined a company called Progress, which also works on an IoT platform. Okay, all of this, when I am explaining the use cases, I will relate to all of that. I have chosen use cases that I've worked on, so they're all real time. It's not something that I've taken from a book and I'm giving an example. They are all that is happening today in the market. Okay. Uh, I'll first go through the use cases and then let's come to the career path, because yesterday, anyways, a lot of talk has happened on career path. Yeah. So I have chosen a topic of recommender systems. I am sure you are at least aware of the name recommender systems. Somewhere it is being used. Any example? Anybody? Let's make this interactive. I don't want to just talk about some math and analytics. Some example. Amazon. What it recommends? Right products you want to buy. Okay. Cool. So the recommender system use case that I'm going to talk about is a little different from e-commerce, what everybody is aware of. I'll be talking about a use case where the stores in Chennai or anywhere where they are selling all the brands like soaps and mass grocers or grocers, from where you buy your groceries, right? Somebody is selling those groceries to them, like ITC or Unilever is selling their products to those shops. How do they sell those products? They have a distributor who goes and sells these products and says, you keep 4 stocks of L'Oreal Para shampoo. It will sell. How does he know that it sells? How does he know like who are the people who are staying in that locality? How does he know he has to put 10 L'Oreal shampoos in that shop? And there are like at least 20 to 30,000 shops in and around Chennai, right? So this was happening for like years. They didn't have any knowledge, but what basic knowledge that they had was, if I was able to sell like 5 products every month, 5 shampoos, so let me put 5 shampoos in the shop. Okay, that's the recommendation system your brain is using, right? If repeatedly, if you do go and buy something, I go and recommend the same thing. So years together, they have been doing this, and that's how everything was working. Few years back, they thought, okay, let's do something. I want to push new products. So let's say I have a shop which is going, which is only selling cigarettes and some small pan and all those things, where MRP doesn't cross like more than 20 to 30 rupees. Anybody is going to recommend like some hair serum to that shop? No, we don't go and buy hair serums from a cigarette shop, right? But maybe you will buy some chocolates or 5 rupees dairy milk from that shop. So this kind of recommendation system in India today runs on these things. So this is how it is being used, because we have seen only examples in e-commerce. We talk about ratings and all of it. This is a different way. So you can always use data science in different places. So now let's say what happens. The distributor has go to the shop and has to tell like, okay, take this brand. If you don't buy this product, I will not be incentivized. So he'll force the shopkeeper, and the shopkeeper says, okay, fine, give me. This won't sell in my shop for the next 1 year. After the expiry is over, he'll say, take your product back, and the company is on loss. To avoid all these things, they want to use a recommendation system. So, what kind of recommendation system do you think can be used? Any ideas? Anybody? Okay, so I think a simple thing, that is what I said. Human brain says whatever is sold in the last 3 months, just push this, they'll buy it. Yes, they will buy it. If I have to do something little more than that in a use case, I'll do something called market basket analysis. Very simple thing. So if a shop is going to buy a shampoo and a conditioner, that guy might also buy a soap, right? Because the products go together. If he's buying 2 shampoos from 2 different brands, he'll buy shampoo from another brand as well, because the locality has the capacity to sell shampoos and soaps. The last one is the collaborative filtering. It's next thing that people are using. Let's see how it is being used. So this is the formatting. You can see the data. You have a date. You have a product which is called an SKU, and then you have like how much it is sold on what particular date. For every shop, I get this record. Okay, and all of this record is stored somewhere. Let's say it's an Excel or a database or anywhere. And the job of the company is to analyze this data and figure out something and tell them, okay, tomorrow, next week, go and sell these 5 products to the customer. Okay, and he's gonna buy it. And how do we do it? First thing is geolocations. Geolocations, if I'm going to use, why do you think geolocation matters? For example, consider your Sri City and consider Chennai. Vast difference based on geolocation. Based on the number of people staying there, I will recommend different products, right? Okay. Second thing is channel. Channel is more like experience with self-service stores where you go and pick your own products. So these days, all of us go to stores like that, right? Something like More or Reliance Fresh or something, where shopkeeper is not lending you products. You go and buy products from them. So in such shops, you need a different kind of recommendation. Whereas the older shops, where there's a shopkeeper and there's a barricade, you have to go and stand and tell him, give me half kg sugar, he'll go and pack you half kg sugar. 3 different kind of channels, 3 different kind of outlets. That's also a data. So that also will come like a column. Okay, geolocation also will come like a column. Then you have monthly budget. I have like a big shop of this size. I have a budget of like 2 lakhs. I can buy anything every month. There are people who are coming and buying. A small cigarette store maybe has a budget of like 30,000. I can't recommend him products which are like very expensive. So that is how much he is ready to spend that month. That's also a data point coming again in the data like this in Excel. Okay. Current assortment shelf. What kind of current assortment is nothing but what kind of products the company is trying to keep in the shelf customers time to keep. So self-service has the biggest assortment. Like if you go to Big Bazaar, you can see everything on shelf. There's no product that they don't have. But when you go to a small store, the assortment is small. I only see like 2 or 3 products. Okay. So this is how the data comes. Let's say we all got the data like this in an Excel form. What is the first responsibility that we might want to do? Clean the data. So, like by mistake, somebody has put like the pan parag masala cost like some 10,000 rupees. Human error. Somebody has like just typed it, or maybe some error in the bug, in the software. You get such numbers. So first, I need to clean the data. Okay, very important. And look at the data. You should know, look at that data and find out what that every record means. So every record here means like, okay, I'm selling a product of this quantity to this outlet. One record has a meaning. That's how you should understand your data. Without looking or understanding the data, we do not do any kind of analytics on that. So very important. Spend time. Any kind of data you can open and just have a look at it, have a glance, and see what happens there. That's why I've put a mark like data exploration is the key. If you have understood your data well, then you can apply the right techniques over it to do whatever you want to do. If you want to do any kind of predictions, you need to first understand what your data is. Okay, clear? So let's talk about recommender systems. Now I explained how the data looks like in an Excel. So what recommender systems does is like it tries to figure out two users or two outlets, let's say in this example, who are very similar. How can you say two outlets are similar? Any example? More and Reliance Fresh is similar or different? Same, right? Why? They are both self-service stores. They have good assortment. They kind of have the same area space wherever they are. Located in like localities where a lot of population is moving. They have a lot of footfalls. Yes. Two stores near a bus stand, where they just sell some tea, coffee, biscuits, all that. Very similar. So that is like an assortment of the shop. So we first have to do some kind of segmentation on the shops, right? Segmentation, we generally have examples of customer segmentation. People segment people. Here we are doing a segmentation on shops based on how they are. Okay. Once we do that, we kind of create a matrix saying that okay, if I have 4 shops in this bucket, okay, and if out of those 4 shops, if there are 2 shops which are buying a particular thing, high chances that the other 2 shops are also going to buy it. Okay. Let's say a new apartment is opened here somewhere in your city. Okay. What is the most basic need when there are like suddenly 100 to 200 people coming and staying in an apartment? Water, okay. Anything else? Milk every morning, the packet that comes to your door. So if I have to know that okay, I'll have to get so many milk packets here based on the size of the place, then people go and open a shop there, right? Like somebody comes and buys a small shop and he opens a parlor. And okay, that's how they do business. So similarly, I'll have to like get some outlets together and recommend based on the type of the place and the type of the shop. Okay, I do not want to look at Chennai and recommend something in Sri City, but I want to look at Sri City and recommend in Sri City. That's why we do the segmentation. Once we do the segmentation, we want to know what kind of products we want to sell to them. So let me do kind of a grouping on like the products also. What kind of products are similar? Like okay, categories are like hair oils, food oils, and maybe biscuits and chocolates. All of this. So all of these categories and recommend even based on those items. I don't want to recommend a 5 liter food oil to a small store. He only buys like 1 or 2 liters, right? So even these pack sizes and all of this matter whenever you are recommending. Okay, so it's very important to identify these things, group the products, group the shops as well, and kind of do a filtering technique on that. You can apply a filtering technique. Now, technique is the last thing. How do you choose on the technique? Is based on all the analysis that you have done here. You can apply any kind of technique at the end, like instead of collaborative filtering, you can do like matrix factorization or anything. A lot of other techniques are there. Key thing is get down your data from the raw till the way it is supposed to be put in any kind of a model. Okay. So that is the key, looking at your data and identifying what is to be done. Okay. So I think all of you guys are anyway aware of other use cases in recommender systems. Any recent use case, anything other than Amazon? Netflix, okay, movie recommendations, right? Everything works on this. Now, let's say if a new person logs in, like how she was telling yesterday, you still have to recommend something to him, right? How do you think you want to recommend that? It's like, let's say, when Sri City was formed first, maybe years back, there was no history for this place. So I don't know what to recommend to a place like Sri City, right? Similarly, when a new user comes, we should always have a common recommendation, irrespective of whether the person has a history or not. Based like on online it happens based on your search histories, whatever you have googled or searched using your email ID. They want to suggest some common things to you. Whereas places like this, when the place is new, I try to relate Sri City to a place somewhere else in India, which is very new, and what they have got. Right? I don't have any history to this place. So this is how new products, anything new is being recommended to the people for the first time. This is how the problem is solved. Okay. So was the topic clear? Any questions? Okay. So this is a very, very basic data science use case I wanted to address to all of you. Next use case I would want to talk about is predicting quality in a manufacturing unit. So you guys have a lot of companies here. Like I think use case is very suitable. So any of you guys have any idea how a factory works? Has been visited to any factory till now? Anybody has seen at least? I have a picture. What factory is this? Okay, this picture is there. Like all of us know that at one shot, yesterday sir was giving me an example. 1 second per mobile is getting manufactured in a factory here. So, eh, so this is like the scale. It happens in any manufacturing industry. This is the scale. At 1 minute, I can see so many things that gets produced anywhere. I think Tata just takes like 10 minutes to manufacture a car from the tin till the car. So you can see the scale, right? Any issue that happens anywhere in the line is going to be a loss. So let's say something we get a lot of spam messages, right? Something is mixed with Coca-Cola and they don't drink it anymore. Let's say this happens in reality and see the loss that they have incurred. We will not go, if it is a reality, then we will obviously stop drinking Coca-Cola. That's what happened with Maggie, right? People stopped buying Maggies and it was like incurring huge loss to them. So this is a very, very common problem in industries because last 20 years, this has actually got the economy up. Everybody has industries all over the world. These people have been collecting a lot of data, but they always had a standard procedure in operation. They have to do that procedure and they expect the results to come. If the results don't come, they just scrape it off. That's their loss. So we always know that there are a lot of Japanese companies who do the best in manufacturing. They have the perfect product. They don't have any issues. The quality, if you say, Japan is like doing great, right? So why do they do great? Because they follow like a step of procedures and they end up having a excellent quality. Today in IoT, like IoT, any example, everybody's aware what IoT is? Internet of Things, right? Okay, very big term. A small part in IoT is like analytics. That is where I go and talk about. Um, all the sensors, like say in the plant, manufacturing plants are like this huge, right? They collect the data from all of these machines and they don't do anything about it because they already have procedure. They have a lot of people in the plant who are very much aware of the process and they are very sure that this is how the product is going to be. But still, there is like a small gap, like 4 to 5% of errors, which actually causes them a huge loss and they want to reduce that. Now, by using all these data science techniques, they want to try and see if data actually helps them when compared to their procedures where the data helps them. Okay. So, what kind of data do you think we can get from a plant? One, anyways, I've explained it to you. Sensors. What other data do you think we can get from a plant? Any example? People working in the plant, what kind of skill set do they have? A different kind of data. One person who is experienced of 2 years and one person who is experienced in 15 years. Just like cooking, right? I know only I have 2 years experience in cooking versus a person having 15 years experience in cooking. Obviously, he'll do a better dish when compared to me, right? So this is people data. This is also data. Okay. All of this data we collect and we get it in a structured form. Okay. Again, back to tables. Every data that we talk about, structured, unstructured, the moment it goes near a model, it's always in a table format. It needs to be in a structured format. Okay. So very, very first step, even in this use case, look at the data, identify what's going to happen. What is the data? How does the data look like? And since data generally come at what granularity? Every second. Every second the temperature is measured, minimum. Every second something is measured in some plant, right? And all of this huge data needs to be converted in a form where it is understandable by a model. So if I tell you, if I give like open a big sheet and for every second if I just put some numbers, do we understand something from that? No, right? Even our brain doesn't understand anything. It just looks like okay, numbers. That's nothing else. But let's say from that I get out some insight and I tell you every hour the temperature in the plant, Coca-Cola plant, is varying from 30 to 35 degrees C, right? Some information, some meaningful information, right? Let me, if I have 100 sensors like this, like temperature, like pressure, humidity, I do all of these calculations for all of these sensors. Okay, this is what is termed as feature engineering. They say any of your raw data, that is whatever you are getting from any of the place, when you take some meaningful information of them and create a data out of it, that is what is called feature engineering. Engineering on the data. This is pure logic, sometimes creativity as well. Nothing to do with machine learning or data science. You just need to understand the data and create these features. Okay, it's like I would say it's like a creativity. Going and spending some time with the data, you will be able to create many things like this. Okay, so that is called as feature engineering and identify what we want to solve. So when I was talking about the Coca-Cola plant, my duty is to tell the plant that I want to predict the quality of the drink that you're manufacturing even before it gets manufactured. So I'll tell you, no, the content that's going in Coca-Cola is not good. Don't manufacture it. So it'll be like, okay, great, because it takes me 5 days to make and bottle and do the quality check. I will stop all of this. I will save all the money, right? Will they believe you? They are in the stream for like last 20 years. They'll say, what are you talking? Some maths you are telling and that's gonna happen? No. So you need to show something to them so that they trust you, right? Especially industries like this, data science on blogs and papers is different, and data science as a use case in industry is a different thing. Unless somebody trusts your model, trusts this data, trusts your predictions, they are not ready to accept it and use it and run their business, right? So we somehow need to give them some trust. So no matter what model we build and what predictions we give, we need to give them some insight, telling that, let's say I should tell them why my Coca-Cola will go bad. How are you going to tell me that? So I need to build some relationship between the quality of the Coca-Cola and between all the process that they are going to do while preparing Coca-Cola. So the procedure would be like, I'll have to mix the sugar and water, heat it for 10 minutes, then cool it for like 20 minutes, and then mix it with soda, okay, in a mixer, and then you go for packaging. So these are like the 4 steps. I'll have to tell the customer, okay, when you mixed it with sugar, you were supposed to mix it with 30 degrees temperature. Your water should have been at that temperature, okay? And your mixer should run at like 100 RPM, but it was running at like 115 RPM. Maybe that's the issue, okay? So to this level, you will have to, get your use case, solve the problem, okay? I think okay. So this was just the way how I have given an example of the data that was looking like. And these were the features, and these on the slide you can see, okay, identifying the target. Identifying the target is nothing but identifying the Like I want to predict the quality. What do you want to do? I want to predict the quality. So that is like identifying the target. And all the other three things that I will return is about feature engineering, what we have already discussed. And last is creating the model. Now, when we talk about model, anybody has some example of what a model is? Anything? You've heard a name maybe. Regression people have heard of? Simple. Recommender system is a model. Regression is a model. So this is the model that we select. This is the last step. So last step of any statistical model or an ML model or a data science task is to create the model. So before creating the model, we do all the analysis on the data, identify what we have to do, and go there. Okay. Um, Before we move on to the next topic, any doubts on this? Okay, is it clear? So we have seen two use cases. One was very simple in e-commerce and shops. Second is in manufacturing industries. Okay. The third thing that I'm going to talk about is I don't say I've worked on it, but I'm currently working on it, not now, or I might want to work on it in future. Okay, a very different use case, very fascinating. Maybe you guys can choose it as your college project if possible. You can try working on this. So, how many of you have worked on or known about computer vision or anything on images, image AI? One, two. So you have some knowledge, right? Okay, fine. So rest of you guys, we talked about two kinds of data. One is data that was generated by human in retail shops. You find out what is how much people have sold. Second is the data that we talk from sensors, which comes at like every second level. Third data that I might want to talk about is image related data, which is like data is nothing but pixel values, let's say. So every picture that we take in a camera, somehow stored in our computer with some numbers. Okay, that's how the colors are coming. And everybody has used Photoshop or at least MS Paint. Everybody has used, right? Microsoft Paint. So you can change the value of RGB somewhere, right? From 0 to 255 and change the color of an image. So that is what those numbers are. At the back, every image is stored using a number. Okay. I will not be talking a lot of technical things about this use case, but this use case is something very fascinating and nice. So it's about super resolution. Anybody can say what is super resolution? What is resolution of an image? Okay, the resolution of my image is very small. What does it mean? Yeah, you will not be. If I put a low resolution image on the screen, what happens? When you print a banner, blurred image. Everybody is aware. Blurred image. Any old photograph, or if you have taken a photo from an album on your phone, how does the picture look like? Low resolution image, no clarity, very old pictures. That's a low resolution image. Let's say I create an Android app and I say I'll click a picture, old picture of mine, and I convert it into a completely high resolution image. I can print it on this wall as well with the same clarity. How does this look? Nice? So I don't think you need a lot of data for this project, right? Everybody has Google Photos now. We have a lot of photos in our own phone. All of us phone, if we collect, I think we have enough data to do a college project at least, right? And so this is a very new use case. I want to do super resolution. Where do you think people want to use it and make money? Okay. Any of you? Just think, you can think for 2 minutes and see what kind of use case this is. Where you think you can use? I've given you an example, Android app, take a pic and super resolution on your old image. If you had that capability, what would you do right now? Maybe you would make all your old photos into new photos, right? Upload your photos somewhere and get a new album with all high resolution pics. What do you think Netflix or Amazon Prime would do? How many stream Netflix or any? I think everybody does here, right? Have you seen the quality of the video? You have a choice in YouTube everywhere. Everybody has to. Why do you have to go for a low quality video? And they can always stream you high quality video, right? No, I'm not able to hear. I think answers are coming, but not loud. Data compression? Data consumption? Okay, good. So yeah, obviously if I have only 1 GB data, I don't want to stream like something very high. Let's say I give you this technique of uh, having a app on your phone which says if you stream Netflix in this phone, it will automatically convert your low resolution Netflix to high resolution Netflix. You don't need data, right? You always stream a low quality video, convert it to high quality on your own. Good. Lot of money for Netflix. Who else can make money? Who stores the highest data? Some names. I think everybody knows the name. Who stores the highest data? Huh? Google? Agrees Google? So let's say all the photos that we have today in Google are compressed to low quality and stored. How much money they are saving on storage? At least 50%, I think, right? They don't need that many servers to store our photos. That to the at the pace that we are clicking photos today, I think they have to encounter like see to store a lot of photos. But if you have this technique with you, let's say every device, if your TV has that device, it has a model which can do this thing, you don't have to stream any high quality videos at your home as well. You just stream a low quality video. You will need very little data, but you can see everything great in your at your home, right? This is an edge, like at edge at every device. If you have this kind of a model, this is how it works. So this is an example for having a AI model at edge. Okay. This is an industry. This is the time where all these things are pacing. A lot of research has been had on all these things in the last 10 years. But if you want to see it in the market, this is the time. So you can experiment on all these things and try out some small projects on your own and see how it works. Okay. Any questions as of now? Nothing. Everybody knows what is edge. Edge is like any device. My mobile is an edge. Okay, I don't have a lot of capacity. I let's say I put a small. And how many of you have heard of Echo or Amazon, Google Home or anything? A speaker that can talk, right? A modern speaker that can talk. So that's an edge. That's a device. There is a lot of intelligence in the device. It's not somewhere. It's not on a supercomputer in a lab. It's all in your hands, right? A device in your hand which is reaching the public is, in simple words, is called like an edge. Okay, and you want to do any kind of like modeling on edge, your device will tell you what to do. Just like your phone, Echo tells you what to do. Your phone tells you what to do. How many of you? Everybody is using Google Maps, right? Your phone tells you how to go also to some place. It tells everything. So that's an edge. Okay. Any other doubts? How many would want to do something like in data science, AI, ML? Yes. Okay. Okay, I don't mind answering it now as well. Or shall I answer after I finish my presentation? Okay. Yeah, I'll answer that. Maybe all of you guys can relate to this because as I said, I don't have a degree in analytics as such. I was a coder when I started the career. Okay, this was the super resolution I was talking about. Do not think why I'm presenting this today is do not think that this can be done only in industries. This can be done in a college lab as well. Okay. There are a lot of papers online you can go figure out. The reason to explain these things to you is like I would wish that every student when he or she passes out have that attitude of learning from the web. You don't only believe in textbooks and don't want to implement only projects which are there which your senior has done or you get it from some other place, pay and get it. Do something. It's okay if it's not like what industries do, but you will have good exposure. And today is the time where you can learn from the web. There are a lot of things online you can search and you can learn. Yeah. Uh, Okay, very important message. I have done with the use case. I was asking questions, but I'll answer this question later. What do you think you need to do when you're in college? we do a lot of study, we want to do some course, we want to do some certification. Very, very important thing is to be very curious. You should always have a curious mind. You want to do something. Whenever you look at some data, somebody has told you, have that curious mind and explore it. Try to find out what is there. So that mindset actually helps you. It's If you always have such mindset, you always want to learn, to figure out, try to find out something. You don't have to go through a proper structured course or a proper structured 5 years or 6 years college and then only graduate and come out and do something. There are a lot of people, at least in AI, I know a lot of people who are doing just by learning from courses on YouTube. They are not from the background, they're not even from computer science background. They have done a career like for 15 to 20 years in different streams, and now just using YouTube they are learning a lot of things and doing things. So that is to have a curious mindset. You can have it at any age, any time, from college till you're like in 20 years in the career. I don't think you have any time for learning, so that's very, very important. And stay focused and apply things that you're learning. Don't learn and forget. Even if you learn a small thing, apply it somewhere. If all of us as CSC and DC graduates, I think at least now, we can at least build a small app, right, on our own. All of us, something small by the end of fourth year, we learn to make. Any ML or AI things, whatever you experiment, you can convert it to an app on your own. 4 to 5 people can together form a group and do it on your own and have it. That's the exposure. That's the way you have to learn things. Structured learning, you can go to a lot of online courses. That is what is MOOCs. You can participate in a lot of hackathons and challenges. Okay, having a mindset, going through a structured course, okay, and whatever you have learned, applying it and doing something will help you solve those challenges. You can't directly open a Kaggle dataset, not learning anything, and say I will do something on this. Okay, that will not help. Go through some preliminary things, a small course to know where to start with. Now you don't know where to start with, so you can start with a course. Once you start with a course, you should always follow some people who have been teaching you that course. They will generate a lot of public content online about learning and things. You can go through that, and then at last you can either attend competitions, do apply that, or you can write papers. Okay, both are possible. You need to have some guidance and a curious mind to learn. Always stay hungry to learn something. Last is insights. Why to learn? How many people? I would say now. I've always wanted to be a UI coder. I never wanted to do Java backend coding. I love to do UI. So many of you guys might be thinking here, right? I don't want to do data science. Fine, no issues. There is no need to do only data science. I'm not saying that that's the only career path all of you guys have to take, but first few years of your career, maybe 1 or 2 years of your career, and last years of your college, experiment and find out what you really like and you want to do. That's the time. You can't experiment after 10 years, you have been working on something and then you say, now I want to experiment for next 2 3 years what I want to do. If you do it at early, it's good. Okay, figure out, what you like, what you want to do, take that path and go forward. Okay, why data science? A lot of hype is just because of this. Some insights have taken from McKinsey. So if you see on that, I'm not sure if you can see it. Earlier, there were a few industries were working on data science, like insurance and banking, always working on data. They were working on data science. Today, if you see, almost all of the industries have adapted to it. They want to experiment with data science. So let's say I'm a big company, I'm a manufacturing unit here. I've not done anything in data science. Now I want to do something in data science. So I do hire some people, right? So that's how job opportunities come. The company wants to invest some money in some kind of research on their data and they want people to do it. So that's how jobs open up. When everybody in the industry wants to do this, a lot of jobs open up, right? And that's why there is a lot of demand. Everybody wants to do what are trying to do. They want to do something. And in the last few years, you have seen that almost all industries have actually adapted to doing anything, a small ML, an analytics, a statistical model. It could be anything in their uh, existing process of anything. Okay, so this is why there is a demand. This is why people want to do data science or might want to do it, and you will have a career in data science. For few years, this will go through. like because everybody is doing it, there are still opportunities for data science in next 10, 15 years. So it's okay if you want to choose it as your career. But it's not a mandatory career option. You don't have to do it even if you don't like it. And the moment you take a career option which you don't like it, no matter how much hype it is, you will not be able to succeed in it, right? So that's the key here. So I think I have ended all the slides. Any questions? And I'll answer. Yes, I'll answer this question. Any questions related to any of these things? Yes, please. Yes, I can suggest you some feature engineering techniques. So the question is time series data. She wants to know if there are any good techniques to do feature engineering. Everybody is aware of what is the time series data, or I can let you know what the time. Anything, any data that is getting generated over time. For every minute I have a value is the time series data. Easy example is weather data. Weather data is time series. It's getting stored somewhere for every minute. I can go online and find out like every minute. Google also shows me, right? How's my weather trending? So this is a time series data. Okay. Now the question is what kind of feature engineering we have to do. Even before we want to do features, what is the first thing we want to find out? What we want to do. What is the problem we are trying to solve? So you can give me an example of what problem you want to solve with the time series data. Any predictions? Okay. So let's say I want to predict um, weather. Okay, I'll give a very very simple example. I want to predict weather for the next 10 minutes. Let's say. Okay, what is it going to be? Some range. I will give a range like it is going to be from 32.5 degrees to 33.5 degrees. This is my average value. Okay, this is the prediction I want to give, and the data that I have is like continuous numbers. uh, Traditionally, there are a lot of time series forecasting models that we're working on this. Because you asked for feature engineering example, I'll give you an example. Can I aggregate these values, okay, and get from every second to every 15 seconds an average value for a temperature? I can get, right? So my every second value was like 12.25, 12.35, something like that. When I average it, maybe I got it 12.5. So when I reduced my size of the data, now once I do that, can I group these numbers into like 3 or 4 buckets? And I'll tell like temperature in the morning was in the section A. I'll label it something A. Temperature in the next hour was in like again A. After that it was in B. After that it was in C. Okay. Now I have a different data, right? I had a time series data got converted to some sequence of alphabets, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, whatever, you can name it whatever. So A means like 15 to 20, B means maybe 20 to 25, something like that. I grouped it and I labeled it. Right? This is a logical way of creating features. Once I create this, instead of putting a forecasting algorithm, I can put any kind of sequence based algorithms here to predict what is going to happen in the next 15 minutes. But now I'm going to tell you in the next 15 minutes, the temperature is going to be in segment D because my data is in ABCD now. I had 4 segments. Now, can you go back and find out what that D is? D is a bucket from 15 to 20. That's what I initially made it. So this is a different way. So this is like a, I would not say it a name by technique. It's called like SAX, sequence based. But this is how you can look at your data. I would not want to tell you of all the names of all the techniques, but how would you want to do it? So getting your data from time series to normal like table structure, removing time is like a feature engineer. You can do it the way you want. That is what I say being creative. You can merge like 2 or 3 ways to do it and get a new number out of it. Is it clear or you want some other example? Okay. So this is called like piecewise aggregation by term. In simple layman terms, it's like averages on averages and grouping it. Okay. Any other example? Any other question from that side? No questions? No questions to me? Okay, fine. Sir asked me like how I am in this stream. So yeah, like how I told you, I graduated CSC and I was hired by a company, and we had a 2 months training on one of the tool. I think it was CBEL, some CRM tool. And after the training, they said they grouped people and they said these are going to be developers and something. And that day they didn't give me a developer post. I was very upset because all my friends were developers and I wanted to be a developer. After coming from a coding background, and I always wanted to be a developer, but they said there is an opening for business analyst, so you can do business analyst. I never wanted to do that, but then accidentally I fell. But then I left the job, and then I didn't anyways want to do something in that company. So I thought, okay, let me do something else. And I, because I had the love towards math, and I had the love towards looking and creating. Because I said I wanted to do UI. I had this passion of creating charts, and I started, okay, let me see what people are doing. And everybody was saying there is something called BI, they are doing business intelligence, simply reporting stuffs online. They have some tools to which will crunch a lot of your data, and they'll create some cubes like aggregations, and they'll do all of these charts. And then I thought, okay, let me learn that. And I learned it. I still didn't use it. I just learned it. And then I did a lot of work on Excel. In Excel, also I will tell you my experience because I came from an engineering background. I didn't do a normal Excel reporting like how everybody was doing. I was writing code to do it because I was feeling like, why are they spending so much time on creating a report? Why can't they just write a VBA script behind and generate those reports? I was my first year of career was with MBA graduates who were not from a tech background. They did BBM MBA, and I was the only coder in the entire team. And I used to feel that they are doing repetitive work. Why are they doing this work? They were not aware of coding. That's why they are doing that work, and I was not happy. So I wrote code for everything, cleaning the data to putting the report on a chart, and get creating a presentation was also done by a VBA. You just have to click one button and just sit. After 2 hours, the report will come. And I used to go and submit it to my manager. And I said, why does this girl finish her job so fast? He didn't know that I was coding it because I was scared. My manager was like, you can't write a code. You should do it manually. What if there's a mistake? I said, okay, but I didn't want to do it. I was very lazy. So I was like, okay, let me write a code. I still wrote a code when I had to create a report, but then I did read the reports. So I used to read the report. I used to write some statements on that, that there is some 30% increase, 20% increase. And I got used to it. That's what I said. If you ask me, at that point of my career, when everybody else, all my peers, had joined some job, earning pretty well, and I was doing Excel. It was not motivating at all. Not for me. Everybody was like, what is she doing? She's doing something in Excel. They are doing some Hyphen or Java coding, I don't know what, but they were doing some coding. And not at all motivating, but I kept there. I stood there. I know it was not something that was, I didn't know that I would be a data scientist that day, but because I liked it, I did it. And eventually I went to a company like Flutura, where I think there are NIT Trichy graduates. Uh, they were hired from college to do data science. And I was there from an Excel background. I only knew ABBA and Excel. I didn't know anything else. Again, lot of demotivation. I told after 2 months to my co-founders that I'm unfit for this job. This You guys are doing some complicated math stuff. They were using a programming tool called R, and I didn't know how to write code on R. That's not normal coding. It has some weird function names. I don't even know those names. And when I Google on Wikipedia, I get 10 other links which I don't know. So I'm stuck. So this happens. This might happen to every CSE graduate. Not now, maybe. You have a lot of awareness. I didn't know all of these things then. But yes. And 10 statistical terms, one after the other, I'm just traversing. And after 10 Wikipedia pages, I don't know where I started from. And I just go home like, this is not the place. I am not so smart to work with these people. That's what I felt for 2 months. And then I was like, okay, maybe I should quit this job and go back to some Java coding. Maybe I am not suitable for analytics. Then they said, okay, somebody gave me, and they said, okay, you just learn one topic. That's how I started. Just learn one topic. It could be very small. I started with time series analysis. I started with Arima. Arima is model. My first model. I didn't even know why they have given some complicated names to this, but okay. And I read through that paper at least 10 times to understand. I didn't know. Every time I reached the last line, I used to forget what was there on the first line. And why are they done all these things? But yes, I gave time. Giving time on a problem makes you smart. It's not that you're just smart by when you're born. You spend 2 hours with the problem, I spend 10 hours with the problem, right? And that is the difference. You quit in 2 hours, that's the end. That the topic was difficult, it's not for me. You spend 10 hours, you will end up getting something, if not everything, and then that's the start. So my journey into data science was not so smooth. It was like a Humpty Dumpty roller coaster ride. But I'm happy that I'm doing a lot now, and I'm still learning, guys. I am still submitting an assignment last night. I was telling her I'm still learning. I still go to one person and learn a lot of things. I like to learn, and I like to share knowledge. So that's why I tell you there is no age to learn anything. And for you guys, I'll tell you content. There are a lot of contents online. Go study, no matter from whichever background you're. Are there EC students here, electronic communication, or only CSE? Yes. I understand that you guys are not having the same curriculum as CSE, but doesn't matter if you want to learn. So I have done coding, I have done Excel, I have done VBA, I have done R, and now I do Python. So I've learned everything in these many years, and I've done something on everything. So it's okay. Okay. And keep learning always. I believe that if I'm there in the industry for next 15 years, I will always have to learn for the next 15 years. There is no end for that learning. Something new will come up after 5 years, and I'll have to keep updated, and I'll have to learn. And it's okay. You don't everybody cannot be an expert. And two things, every one more thing I would want to let you know, guys, there are two career sides. Like one is the research side and one is the application side. I work more on the application side. So I want to use these models and do something. If people are interested in research, you can spend a lot of time on research. Online, read people's how they write a paper. You can implement your own algorithms. If you are interested in math, you can do it. Choose what you want to do it. Don't follow somebody else because they have been successful in the career. They have become successful in the career because they like what they are doing. So maybe this is very important. Choose what you want to do and work hard for it. Spend time with it. And that's it, I think, for the day. Any questions? Anything on career or okay? Thank you. I'm sorry if I took a lot of time.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your views and experiences. It was very informative. Now we have founder and CEO of NK's Packaging, Mrs. Shilpa Rengareddy, to address us. She co-founded Lux Packaging in 2011, and she also received several awards, including Goldman Sachs 10K. She's also in association with Cherry Blair Foundation for Entrepreneurship. Now we invite her to address us on this occasion.
Good morning, everybody. It feels good to be back in this forum, like a student college forum. It's really wonderful to be here. Firstly, I would like to wish everybody here, including Spurti and other data science speakers here, too much of technology, a very, very happy Women's Day. Um, I have a very short presentation. I don't want to really take a lot of time of you guys and talk too much of too much of talking. I'll limit myself. I try to limit myself, but and not bore you all. Um, oh, it's not reached. So while the presentation is getting ready, I would just like to ask a couple of a few introduction kind of questions. So how many of you all like first year students or the final year students? I mean, what is the class like? The room is like today. Are you all first years or middle of this engineering or the final years? Or how is it? So all mixed up, and ECE and CSE all mixed up. Okay, okay. And from all over the India, right? right? Right. And how has it been being in Sri City, away from the city culture or city, landscape and all that? How has it been? Are you all enjoying staying here in Sri City, being a hostelites here and all that? No, I see a lot of nods like this. Hostel itself is a big world, right? College itself is a big world, right? The entertainment world. I mean, I love my college life. I never went back home until like what 8, 9 in the night. I always used to go out with my friends and hang out with my friends. Yeah. Anyways, so the reason why I asked you guys if you're first years or final years or mid of the engineering kind of a group is because that will help me to take my talk in a direction where I don't teach you so much or I don't tell you what I have done in my past and stuff like that, right? I'll start with a brief intro of what I am, right? I am an MBA graduate. I have no technology background, though my bachelor's is in computer applications. So I've done my BCA before my MBA, but that was all out of what do you say, like flow. I never chose to go in BCA, but I just put into BCA. I never wanted to do so-called MBA in so-called college, but I just had no option. Stuff like that. I post after my graduation, like every other typical Telugu girl, I got married and left to the US with my husband and found some IT job there. Eventually, again, I didn't want to land an IT job, but the country forced me to land an IT job. So I ended up landing in a IT firm doing a testing job. I was doing a software testing in the US when I was living in the US for about 5 years. After that, one fine day, I just told my husband that there's something that's in me that I don't want to live in this country. I don't want to work for anybody. I just want to work for myself. It could be any stream. I have no clue right now what I'll do after going back to India. But to do something, this is not the country. India is my country. I think India will have a better window for me to do anything on my own. I just want to go back home. I just said that and then booked my ticket and flew back here. I had no plans. I had no business model. I had no business plan, project report, nothing. I just flew back. And then I called. I was so Pawan right there is my college friend, and we have always been in touch post college as well. So we used to share like what's going on in professional life and what's going on and stuff like that. Then I said, hey, I'm going to India. Let me see. I'm going to try a couple of things. Whichever works out, I'll let you know. Then you come and join me. He was in the Europe then, and I said you have to come and join me. I'll let you know. That's when I started my entrepreneurship journey. To take you back to the topic of entrepreneurship, that's where I started my entrepreneurship journey, saying that um, I'll do something on my own. At that point, I didn't refer back to any of my MBA class, topics or the theories and the case studies. Nothing came to my mind. It's just one single statement. I want to do something on my own, and that's got to be in India. I'm going back. That's it. That's the gut feeling. I got back to India, and I came and started exploring stuff in India. Right? I failed. I failed in my first venture. I failed in my second venture. It only lasted for like 3, 4 months, each of these ventures. That's when the third venture started. That's again with the support of my friend here. He was the one who said, hey, why don't we do something in packaging? Because that's the very demanding right now in India. There are not many players in packaging right now. And then he propagated that idea, and then we said, okay, let's do it together. So we started this together in 2011 under the brand name called Lax Packing. That's basically stands for luxury packaging. We started with the initial product as a paper bags, because at that point in 2011, back in 2011, there was a ban for plastic takeaway bags in Hyderabad. So we just used that opportunity to start with the paper bags, and then we eventually learned that there's a lot more demand for luxury packaging than just the paper bags. Then we eventually diversified ourselves into the luxury packaging segment. So that's a short note on how I started my entrepreneurship journey and how I became an entrepreneur. And coming back to my personal life, Like I said, I'm an MBA graduate and I married. I've been married for the last 15, 16 years now. Have two girl children. I'm happy to say that I have two girl children who are going to school now. Then I think I'll go back to the presentation now. Which button do I press to go to the next slide? Okay. Okay. So I think I finished with my introduction. So do you all know who's Sri Lakshmi Suresh? Have you all heard about her, read about her somewhere? No, right? So even I didn't. I wanted to show a picture which can motivate you all, down the lane in your life, like, whether you want to start something on your own or when you're working for somebody, some other company, whichever ways. I wanted to give few names in the industry or in the world right now who are famous people or influential women entrepreneurs, especially. I did the same thing, like Google up. I just Googled. Though I read few books, written by Rashmi Bansal about the famous entrepreneurs and stuff like that, but the quick thing that I could do was just Google up, right? I come across the typical names of Vani Kola, Nika's founder, the Shanaz Herbal's founder, and all these great names. But then I wanted to bring up two different genres of women entrepreneurs here. One is the one that you're seeing right now here, Sri Lakshmi Suresh. She's apparently now 22-year-old. The reason why I want to bring this up because you're all in the same age group of probably 18 to 20, 22-year-old, right? So I thought maybe this would give you a motivation to do something on your own at this young age. She apparently wrote her first code at the age of 4. It seems the coding she has done coding at the age of 4. I know I can't believe it either, but that's what the report says. That's what the Google says. That's what a lot of articles on her says. And she's the youngest CEO. She was the youngest CEO, and she became a CEO at the age of 11. She made her first website at the age of 8. So she made her first website for her school at the age of 8. So that means she has done all the coding using HTML at the age of 8 and made a school website, it seems. So she's won a lot of awards and stuff like that. So I brought this up because, as a motivation factor for you all, that age is not the factor to start anything. You can start as low as 8, 4, 6, whatever age, right? And second thing I would like to ask you all is, what do you all think the definition of entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is a very fancy word, right? These days it's become a really, really even more fancier word. So what do you think the definition of entrepreneur is? Can anyone, say something? Maybe a sentence. I'm open for it. I don't want to make you all sleep. I'm sure you all had breakfast and came, right? So anyone, just a sentence. Okay, let me put it in a very simple one sentence, right? From my perspective, entrepreneur is basically the one who creates something or gives a service and also provides employment. That's my kind of a definition, right? I'm not going with the so-called authors, books, and stuff like that, right? And I believe there's entrepreneur in every person around you, like your mother, like my mother. So I call her as an entrepreneur because she knew how to manage the family business. She knew how to manage the family funds, right? She knew how to budget the year long or month long. What amount has to go to the fees of the children, what amount has to go to the any kind of other purchases. So there was an entrepreneurship in there, right? So every one of us have entrepreneurship within us. It's just that we don't realize it, right? Um, these are few points. I'll take it very quickly through these points, so that we don't go too much into the detail of these points. Since I'm addressing the student group, I thought it makes sense to give you a very crisp and clear points. The first thing that even I tell my children that don't study, just learn. Studying is just studying the book. When I ask my daughter to read a textbook, she'll just sit in front of me and read the textbook. That's it. 5 minutes, she'll say, "Amma, I'm done. I'm going out to play." When I ask her questions, she'll be all like blank. So that's when I tell her, It's not studying, it's learning. How much did you learn? So every one of us do this mistake when we are in college. I mean, I'm sure at least we have done, in our generation we have done. We have just studied, we didn't learn. We just went for the college just for the sake of going college. We just learned, we just heard what they had to say, wrote exams, came out, passed, that's it. But I'm sure this generation is not that. I'm sure with the kind of information that you have, with the kind of guidance that you have from people like, Mr. Director Sir, Kanagaram Sir, and other big people here, other big professors here. I was just talking to Rajendran a bit ago before coming here. The kind of knowledge that he has, the kind of exposure that he has, and experience that he has, I'm sure you will learn a whole lot than what your textbooks can teach you by speaking to the people like that, right? Because that's like a hands-on experience and live experience rather than the textbook experience, right? So that's the reason I said don't study, just learn. Learning by talking to people like those, or learning by experimenting. So learning is the best way to go about rather than studying the subjects of textbooks. Second thing is stop comparing and start collaborating. Um, I do that in my business right now. In college life, yes, we used to compare. Okay, she's getting that, he's getting that. What is this? What is that? But collaboration is the best way, which I learned after starting the business journey. For example, I could tell you we have a bigger competitor in our industry. So we went once to the competitor on our own and asked them for collaboration. We didn't compare. We didn't say you're big, you're small, or we're big, you're small. We didn't compare as such. We just went and told them that, hey, I know you're big, or I know you're X, Y, Z. But having said that, I'm sure if we look at this competition as a healthy competition and collaborate and work in a collaborative model, we can go a long way together, right? So if you have something that you don't want to execute or you couldn't execute, you just give it to us. And if I have something like that, it's beyond my capacity, I'll give it to you. That way, we capture the market together, especially the international market, right? So that's the collaborative method that we have implemented in our industry, in our factory. So that's the reason I say collaborate, but don't. I mean, you could compare, but not to an extent where it spoils your, spirits of working ahead, moving forward, right? Stop fear of failure and start experimenting. What else can you do at this age? At the age of 18 to 22, do you have any fear? I don't think so. I don't think so. You should be afraid of anything at this age because one, you have no financial responsibility at all, as in you don't have to worry about your financials at all. You don't have any other responsibility of going back home, cooking, taking care, whatever, nothing, right? I'm talking to especially the girl sitting here, right? There is absolutely no need of fear of any failure, right? So you should be proactive in experimenting anything. Fail, that's fine. Like I said, I just took my gut feeling and said I'm going back to India. I don't know what I'll do, but I'm going back to India. I did two ventures, both of them are like absolutely flop. 3 months, that's it, flop. But I said no, I can't stop here. I can't really stop here. I have to get up and go because I'm here for something. I'm here to do something. I don't want to go back to the US, right? So this is the age to experiment anything without having to fear of failure because you have a long way to go. Whether in terms of age, in terms of your availability of resources around you, in terms of availability of your support system, everything you have a way longer, larger extent than what you can think of. So never afraid of a failure that you can get into. Um, Stop talking and start listening. This especially doesn't applicable to me because I talk a lot. I usually talk a lot. I'm trying to control myself here, but I have learned this over the years of my this business journey that I should stop talking first and start listening. The reason being, only when I start listening what the opposite person is saying, whether it could be my client or my vendor or anybody, that's when I will be able to first uh, understand what their perspective is, and by understanding their perspective, I would be able to figure out what is the actual problem there. Only if I know the problem, then I can come back with a solution, right? If I don't let the opposite person talk, then I would miss out on the opportunities. I would miss out on the problems there. Then that wouldn't lead anywhere. That will just be a talking session and not leading out to any result as such. So this I've learned through my experience of talking to the vendors and clients and stuff like that. So when somebody is saying something, keep listening if needed. Make a note if you have questions, because I'm sure you'll come up with some questions when you're listening keenly. Then you can make a note of those questions and then you go back to the same person and ask them later. Because if you don't do that practice of making a note and going back after the talking session, you will break the chain of thought of the opposite person, and then eventually you will also miss out on the opportunity of what is coming next, right? Utilize, prioritize, question, and learn. These are few buzzwords. I don't want to really go elaborate on that because you all know the simple literal definitions of these. Like, what do you have to utilize? You have plenty of resources. You have online resources. You have the college resources to utilize. When you utilize your resources that are available with you to do anything in your life, post your graduation, post your 4 years of course, you have a lot of information to use. And then once you use this information, like Prarthana was saying, uh, which career you take doesn't matter. You have to first look at in yourself and say, okay, hey, I like this topic, or I would like to explore this topic. Then you prioritize your things, like, okay, I think my like one is data science, or my like two is UI designer, something like that. 3, 4, 5. You prioritize your likes, and then accordingly you make a choice, and you learn towards it, you work towards it, learn and then move forward. So I believe in the structured, organized manner of doing anything. It could be even you're as simple as you're getting up in the morning activity. Like, the first thing that I would do is, once I get up in the morning, I just make a note of all the things that has to be done for that particular day, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including, like, even if I have to make a phone call, because with a lot of things on the plate, you tend to forget. So what I do is I make a note. I need to call this gentleman so and so time. So it gives you being organized, prioritizing your list. All these things gives you a clarity in your life, where to go, how to go about, right? Start small, start again to scale. Like I said, I'll give you a simple example of starting small and then again start again to scale. My own example, we have started small, very small, and in the year of 2011 with a very very basic machinery in our small space that we had. We kept on with it. We went on with it uh, at a stage where there was a stage where we really thought this is not happening. Being small is not happening. It's not giving us that jump. We need to scale up, right? But that scale up cannot be like random scale up. The jump cannot be a random jump. It has to be a calculative jump, right? We were waiting for the right opportunity, but then um, you know, even though we were a little delayed, the scaling up happened by coming ours, putting ours in Sri City right now. So we scaled up and we came here in Sri City. Compared to our Hyderabad unit, this unit is a little bigger scale than what we have in Hyderabad. But this scale didn't come over the night. We started very small back then, and then eventually, slowly, we took our own time to scale up to this level. So with you guys also, the best thing to do is start really small. Like Pradna was saying, you can do a small app. 4 of you all, 5 of you all can make a group and then start a small app. It could be your technology, your data science app, or easy students can probably start something like a small product in the electronic segment, or small sensor or something like that, right? You can start small and then you can slowly push it to a bigger scale, right? So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much. I'm sure you're half of you all. I think you're all going into a sleep mode now. I think you can wake up and ask me any questions if you have. I'll be happy to answer your questions. Otherwise, I thank Mr. Kanagaran to give me this opportunity and talking to young students like this. It gives me motivation because I'm always available to talk to people like you, because I have a niece who's in college. I keep talking to her on a daily basis on these topics. So every day we have a chat. End of the day or beginning of the day, we have a chat with my niece. So I have, in fact, two nieces, two girls who are going to college now. So, yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for motivating us. Now let's all break for snacks and reassemble back in 15 minutes.